Hey, everybody. Back again with another absolutely inspirational leader. Again, kind of just wanting to get inside the heads, the minds of, other leaders in their own right. Today, I've got the proud, locally owned and operated maker of amazing, yummy, sweet, great cheese, Adam Blanchard. He's the owner of Five Brother Cheeses. And again, and I'll say this to people watching. I'll be talking to some former clients or current clients of mine, but in many cases, actually the majority are just going to be, I'm taking people from different industries, different locations. From our relationship, to be honest with you, we just kind of connected, and Adam kind of keeps me in the loop, I guess, as to his fitness journey, which, as what you're going to hear, is absolutely like awesome, amazing. Hence, obviously, why I wanted to do this with. So first and foremost, Adam, appreciate your time, because I know based on where you are, this guy, look where he is. Yes, he is in his actual location.
Cheese Castle.
Cheese Castle in the Ghouls. So again, no, bro, appreciate your time with this.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right. Okay, so really, kind of the transition for you, Adam, was kind of heading into 2019, the start of 2019. But let's just kind of look back at that, I guess, 2017, maybe 2018. Where were you mentally and physically kind of at that part?
Looking back on it now, it's easy to see. But I was not in a good spot, especially towards the in the fall of 2018. Mentally, physically, I was tired. I was not exercising. I was a smoker. I was a weekend drinker. I was it wasn't good, and I knew it, and I could feel it in my body and just in my head. And there was a lot going on with the business, trying to make some changes. And, I just become a dad, again, a little before that.
Yeah.
And, just, I was sleeping on the couch, every night.
Wow.
Because, I had a newborn that was in the bed with my wife.
Yep.
And I didn't want to go in there and disturb and be snoring, because I was a heavy snorer.
Okay.
And no one get a good night's sleep sort of thing.
Yep.
But I wasn't doing myself any favors, because I wasn't getting a solid night's sleep. And I was staying up late, and it just got to the point where I was physically not feeling well. I was mentally drained and exhausted. I was so tired, and I knew that just it had to change. And it got, I just said to myself, enough is enough. I need
Was there a tipping point? Like, obviously you did, but like, what was the, or was
wasn't
it
a specific tipping?
Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you quickly. Not that this was the specific tipping point, but I remember before I started exercising, and sort of looking at things to do, and things I'd like to do, and you get through the end of the year, and it's what am I going to do for the new year? Let's make some plans. And one thing I wanted to do was go. I wanted to go ziplining. And I was looking it up and doing research, and saw that the weight limit was like 250 pounds.
And you were, what were you ballpark?
I hadn't weighed myself.
Yeah.
At that. This was back, November of 2018.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until January. I'd say I was about 250.
Yeah. Okay.
I stepped on the scale in January, and I was 245. So. And it was just a combination of things. And I just was struggling to do these, just have the energy with my kids, and have the energy to do my job, and to run a business, and all these things. And I looked at myself and I said, is this really who I want to be?
There you go.
Is this really the guy that I'm going to look back in 5-10 years life is so fragile that, you know, anything could happen at any day.
Mhm.
And do you really want to be that guy who has a heart attack? You know, you're going to be 40 in a few years.
Yeah.
You really want to be that guy who has a heart attack and leaves behind a wife and 2 kids that you don't get to see grow up because you're fucking smoking and drinking and being in just a worthless piece of shit? No,
Yeah.
that's not who I was. That was not me.
No.
I needed to make changes, and I needed to do it now.
Right away. Okay.
Because if not, you know, it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
I was headed down a path that was, you know, was just so, you know, I looked at myself. I took some time over Christmas. I took those 2 weeks and I just like slept and, you know, just rested my mind. You know, I don't think I did any holiday drinking,
Yep.
you know, and I started, you know, and I said to myself, we're going to do this and we're going to get back on track to where things need to be. And
Mhm.
we're going to make some big changes in 2019.
And so as that flipped, you had the mindset, you know, speaking to you, knowing you, and obviously just before we hopped on, what was the big focus? Was it that kind of, I want to get down, I want to do something like quick, get some whatever, or was it kind of like small? Like what was the process of looking at the big picture?
I knew it wasn't going to be small. I knew it was going to have to be, you know, big. And that's what I said to my wife, Julia. I was like, this is not going to be me on a quest to weigh 210 pounds or lose 4, you know, inches off my waist. This is going to be a process and a lifestyle changes. This is going to, you know, affect not only myself, but it's going to and benefit myself, but it's going to benefit everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the energy in this house is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
And things are going to, you know, so that Christmas going into New Year's, I started and I said to myself, I can't go aiming and making crazy, ridiculous goals with expectations of hitting them tomorrow. You don't get fat and out of shape in one overnight.
Right. Yep.
You're not going to get back into shape and lose the weight overnight.
Yep.
This is going to be a process again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, you know, I just started small.
Yeah.
And I started getting those 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
I love that start. Absolutely. Right.
You know, just the smallest thing. I knew it. I said, because I said to myself, sleeping on the couch this is horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I need to get into the bed.
Yeah.
Simple. Get into the bed.
Mm.
You'll enjoy it more and you'll feel better in the morning.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
there's, you know,
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And then we started just small things, drinking more water. You know, you hear it all the time. Drink more water. Of all the diets and fads and things that have come and exercise new techniques.
Yeah.
And that,
But the basis, the foundations are the foundations.
Exactly. Right. Drinking more water. So I started doing that. I started, you know, then I was like, you know, I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to start eating, you know, I'm going to stop eating junk. Yep. I was eating, you know, I was eating all hours of the night before I started this because I would get up, I have no appetite, I'd go to work, I'd come home at the end of the day, I'd stuff my face, you know, with a large supper and then snack for the rest of the night. So it, you know, I was like, all right, reel that in, you know, and it's just those steps got me going. And then you start feeling better and then you start getting more energy. And then you're like, what else can we do now? And, you know, I was going to the gym and I was, you know, I wasn't on a routine or anything. I was just sort of getting the muscles going, getting the blood flowing, you know, doing small amounts of cardio, doing some weights, you know, and then January came and I started, you know, sort of getting into more of a regiment, you know, a routine, because that's what it's all, you know, you can get into good routines and you can get into bad ones, you know, and I just was like, okay, well, let's start off by going 3 days a week. It doesn't have to be every day starting out. you know,
Yep.
and the hardest part I've said of a lot of things is taking those first steps.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It is.
Taking those
Right.
first steps in through a door of a gym,
Yeah.
taking those first steps in getting, your food back on track.
Yep.
But once you start those steps,
Yeah.
you gain
Yep.
momentum and you can
Yep.
start, picking up the pace.
Yep. Yep.
So, I started at the summit and it just started to snowball.
Yeah. And then you kind of went in from there. You were looking at, keeping, obviously trying new things that are enjoyable. So I'm not sure exactly the time period that you did go to jiu-jitsu. Was it martial? What'd you do
Yeah,
again?
it was
I,
uh, it was February of that year.
but I remember you telling me, Adam, I think it was at a coffee shop, you were saying how you were in the parking lot and didn't you? You didn't want to kind of go in, you were questioning, right?
Yeah,
Should I be here? Should
definitely.
I be doing this?
The,
Right?
eas- the easiest thing is not to do something.
Hmm.
The easiest thing is to drive by and not go in.
Yeah.
And again, the
Yep.
first step in through the door is the hardest because you don't know what to expect
Hmm.
and you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
But started taking a Muay Thai class in February of that year,
Yeah.
and it was amazing.
Yeah.
The cardio aspect of it is ridiculously great, which is what I was looking for at the time because
Yeah.
at the time I wasn't a big fan of the treadmill
Exactly.
and stationary bike, so I wanted to mix it up. And again, I'm going to be 40, in a few years. So, now's the time to do these things. I'm
Absolutely.
not going to be able to, really start a Muay Thai class when I'm 60,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So fuck it. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's do something new.
Yep.
Step out of the comfort zone.
Love it.
That bubble that I had put myself into of just pure, nothing good.
Yeah.
And let's try something new. We only get one shot at this.
You do. And so not to necessarily, fast track crazy, but just think of how that, work commitment structure kind of, as you started, 2019, how that prepped you obviously for, even this year, right? With just the craziness, the COVID, and that you can imagine being in that headspace of struggling and then this on top, it would have just been either, you know what I mean? So
It
knowing,
would have been too much.
so just talk about that, like how you kind of entered, we're really jumping, but how we entered really even 2020 and even COVID, that you kind of, now it was almost a lifestyle, I guess, by now, and it is now.
And that was it. It just, I started feeling better and I started carrying this energy and carrying it home and to work and, I'm up early in the morning and, just getting the day going. And it just carries forward. And then you're like, well, I can go to the gym and do this, or I can go what else can I do? What else am I not doing that I've always wanted,
Yeah.
And you just you just push all that fear and that doubt that may reside as as a person, as an entrepreneur, or as
Yeah.
whatever. I find it just pushes it down, and you just tackle things head on, and you have the mental clarity that comes with exercising,
Yeah.
that comes with eating healthy. Some people may not understand it, but a lot of people do, and it's just that clarity that's there, after an exercise,
Yeah.
or it's just awesome, and you can just take that throughout your day. And that's what I was doing. I started working out in the morning because I wanted to take that energy that I was getting from the working out and getting the blood going,
Yeah.
and man, just what I could do and tackle in the rest of the day was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Which is that's an awesome point, right? And something that I think, if someone that really truly hasn't, maybe they experienced it like many years ago, or it's, inconsistent enough that it actually is really kind of felt, deep down. But when someone, reads that on a piece of paper, that if you work out, really mornings or whatnot, or just you put in that effort, that, your clarity, the way your day is shaped up, when someone that does not experience that and they just read that, it's kind of like like it's selling, it's kind of hyping it. It's like no, there's you never have a bad workout. Yeah, maybe you don't go in and do exactly what you know, for some strange reason, or obviously you've got a lot going on in your head, but the very fact that you had taken some level of time, all of our precious time, and it's kind of like self-improvement, self-care, whatever you want to title it, improving your fitness, improving your health, whatever. But the very fact that you're putting in sweat equity, right? You're putting in that time, and then you kind of come from that, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, like there's no way it should not, because yeah, hormonally and all that stuff, we know that it works, but for the very fact of how we are right now, you running a business, it's COVID, it's like, you can just sit and like, just kind of take in, or you can kind of like, how do I combat kind of what I need right now? How do I recharge? How do I grow my body to really assist in you going about your day to day? And you need to, by doing that, by taking care of yourself. And that is, as you said, sleep. That is hydration, stress management from other means, quality food, and obviously exercise. Like that's your 5 pillars, right?
So one way I've looked at this is through sort of the numbers and, you know, our time during the week. Because we've got so many hours in the run of a week, you know, and if we take 1 hour a day, I broke it down, and in 24 hours, if you take out 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, you're left with 8 hours.
Sure.
So if you take 1 hour out a day for 7 days a week, you're taking 8% of your week for yourself. Like if you know, everybody should be able to afford 8% of their week to self-care, improvement, whatever you want to call it. Because it's, you know, the benefits are just huge.
There's the tentacles of it.
It will just, like, you know, you won't even, you know, be able to, you know, realize until you're sort of in the moment of those benefits.
You can. And absolutely. And I think, you know, the mindset is key, right? In terms of how you went about your approach, that I think, you know, many others are, just because of either, if you're, you know, you want things, you know, instantaneous, or we want to kind of change something so quick because, hey, you may not be satisfied with how you're feeling. But the reality is no matter what age you are, you know, from basically either adherence, meaning sticking to something, or obviously consistency, that's got to take an approach that you basically do, as they call it, the Kaizen principle, right? The 1%. If you do 1%, right? Whether you'd say 1% better a day or 1% better a week, doesn't matter. But if your approach is, it's a lifestyle, I'm going to make small changes, 1% for the first X number of time. If you look at it on a graph, you're like, where's the improvement? I can't even see. But then it's like nutting, and then boom, right? And so, but the reality is it's manageable, right? There's going to be off days, off weeks. That's life.
That's life, and everyone's got to expect that. Just like business, you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. It's just about keeping that balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I love it.
I found that, you know, I sort of fed off of what was happening, fed off of, you know, getting back to the gym, getting into a Muay Thai class. Okay, so what's the benefits of me doing Muay Thai 3 days a week? Okay, so I come home, I'm a smoker at the time. I come home after a class. The last thing I'm thinking or wanting to do to myself is have a cigarette. And, you know, so I'm starting to really cut back on this. And it got to the point where I was just like, all right, this is it. Enough is enough of this. And, you know, I gave that up and haven't touched that in a year and a half. And that's, you know, whatever comes, you know, tomorrow, that's one thing that I'm just like so happy, physically and financially, you know, how expensive it is.
Big time.
You know, and then you take those, and then you start looking at things like, okay, more time management, all those 10-minute breaks in the run of a day that you're taking for that. Now you've got an extra hour, let's say, on your, you know, amazing. So what am I going to do with this extra hour? Let's try something different. Let's meal prep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about prioritizing. It's how we put how we stack what we do, our tasks. And when
And
someone's
just time
right,
management,
it is.
and
It'll always come down to that. If you're running a business, it's time management.
yeah,
And if
exactly.
and if you're
Life,
running your own business is always this. Your
yeah.
own business is this. It's your body. Okay, so clearly, I mean, that's 2 years. You're still right. I mean, you're going through the process. You're kind of
Going
continually
through the
growing.
process, and I just honestly can't slow down.
No, you should.
I can't. Like I picked up, since COVID. I haven't been going to the gym, obviously, but I didn't want that to be an excuse.
Yeah.
And I said to Julia, my wife, I was like, "There's two ways that this could happen over the next few months. I could come out with up 15 pounds, which there's nothing wrong with. It's a stressful time, or I can flip the script and take the kids for a walk every day for a half an hour, including, my workout.
Yep.
And we're not eating out as much,
Yep.
because the restaurants are closed.
Yep.
So let's try and come down 15 pounds on this.
Yep.
And, have since then picked up, more cardio. I've been running and hiking. I ran my first 10K virtual race back a couple weeks ago.
Deadly. Imagine.
And
Yeah,
I
cool.
just can't stop.
So no, that's awesome, buddy. And I didn't actually no, I think I did realize that. But from a running perspective, I mean, you think back to kind of late 2018 to say that you accomplished that virtual race. I mean, your former self would have just literally shook his head, right?
I got a little cranky because I couldn't go for a run the other day because I strained my calf muscle. And I was like, you know what? A couple of years ago, to say that I was upset because I couldn't go running twice in 1 week, I'd say you're crazy.
You're crazy. Okay, so as a final note, as I've been doing kind of with these, it's a takeaway. You probably have millions, but what is something? And we covered a lot because there were so many little things there in terms of your approach, your mindset, your outlook as to how you're treating your health and fitness. But again, if someone's maybe like they are or like you were in 2018. It's madness right now. They're stressed to death. They kind of know they need to make a kind of a stage or a switch, but they're kind of that anxious level. What's a comment or two that you could kind of state to that?
Just do it. Push it all aside. Push all that fear, all that hesitation. Just push it aside and take that first step. It's all about that first step.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be anything big.
Yep.
Just a small first step to get you going.
Yep.
And the benefits will just, it'll just start building and building and one day at a time, and it may be in the morning that you're able to work out some days, or maybe it's in the evenings. You got to be flexible like that, but just focus on what it is that you want to do. Mm-hmm. What goals are you going to set out? Are you doing this for the right reasons? Are you doing this because you want to and because you want to, take care of yourself and your family? Just take that first step and, go get it, because no one else is, like in running your own business, no one else is going to do it for you. No. You've got to do it for yourself, and you got to go out there and get it done.
Wicked. Awesome. Adam, like wicked, man. I can't be any happy for you. Like, no joke, genuinely.
Thanks, and
I want you, like I said, always want you to kind of keep me in the loop and whatnot. And perfect, man. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. Till next time. Again, just it's all about that process, but it gotta be done for yourself first and foremost. Again, thanks, Adam.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.